Before I get into the meat of this video, we actually need to talk about this game's sequel, The Sinking City 2. No, this isn't sponsored or paid for, I'm just a fan. Sinking City 2 is on Kickstarter right now with a week or so left. Hopefully they do a late pledge option for everyone who misses this. The sequel is taking it in the Resident Evil 2 remake direction, which is just fine by me. A lot of the complaints I actually have with The Sinking City 1 seem to have been changed up for the better, like a more focused level design according to the developers. Combat already looks leagues above the original, and visually it still looks good, but graphics peaked in like 2007 or something, so that's nothing to be surprised about. Check it out down below with the link in the description.
Avoid contact with anybody that may appear abnormal. Your safety in this new world is our absolute priority.
What do you get when you cross Sherlock Holmes with Cthulhu? Well, you get Sherlock Holmes the Awakened. So what do you get when you crank that dial up to 11?
11.
You get The Sinking City. The Sinking City is Frogwares, the Sherlock Holmes developers' full dive into the Cthulhu mythos. What started out as another Call of Cthulhu title based on the tabletop of the same name shortly became an original IP, so not as to be beholden to the elder gods at Chaosium. Frogwares jumped ship and released Sinking City nearly side by side with Call of Cthulhu, the official video game developed by Cyanide Studios. Frogwares also went through a lot of legal battles with Nacon, and for me personally, I can't support a Nacon published game anymore. These guys, Nacon, tried to sue Frogwares, claiming that they were the developers and not Frogwares themselves, and claiming they owned the Sinking City. Thankfully though, Frogwares won that case over a arduous battle of like 5 years or something. As cool as some of these Lovecraft games coming out this year from Nacon Publishing look, I won't be picking any of them up. And I feel really bad for the developers making these things under Nacon, given their really shitty history with Frogwares. Devs, if you see this, get out while you still can. If any of you want more information on this, seriously, just Google Frogwares versus Nacon case, and there will be 1,000 YouTube videos or articles explaining the entire thing. It actually is kind of bonkers that a publisher would do this to one of their developers who are making them money. It's absolutely insane. I don't understand it. Alright, now that I've blabbed about that for a bit, we can properly talk about The Sinking City. If you've seen my Sherlock Holmes The Awakened review right here, this plays nearly identically, with the small differences being purely in terms of the typical psychic detective trope, rather than Sherlock being the world's greatest detective.
Promised to meet you the moment you arrived.
Ah, much obliged, Mr. Vanderberg. I guess I didn't expect you to mean so literally.
Please call me your Highness. But where are my manners? Welcome to the proud city of Oakmont.
Here you play Charles Reed, PI from Boston. Suffering from horrible nightmares, he is summoned to Oakmont, a port town a few miles away from our beloved Arkham, Massachusetts. A mysterious flood has covered Oakmont, basically leaving it uninhabited save for the desperate people who still survived the flood and couldn't get out. His benefactor calling him to Oakmont is Johannes Vanderberg, and with Johannes' help, Charles just might uncover what's going on with his mental health and solve what's up with Oakmont. But to do all of that, we need to solve our first case.
I don't care about your petty excuses. No one leaves the port until my son is found, and that is final.
Excuse me. Are you Robert Throgmorton?
I am, but not interested. Go away.
The name's Charles Reed. I'm a private investigator, just arrived from Boston. I was told you might be able to help me.
Private investigator, you say? Well, perhaps we can help each other.
Given to us by Robert Throgmorton, the main patron keeping Oakmont afloat, along with a few other key leaders around Oakmont. Robert's son, Albert, is missing, and the last place he was seen is our first stop. Charles is your typical psychic detective. He can see past events from key artifacts, and using his abilities, reassemble the crime to then put it in order.
What's happening?
Take this, ape-face.
After some clever sleuthing and using our abilities to track down Albert, we find him dead on a meat hook. Something drove him insane, and the fishermen who found him were attempting to defend themselves. After finding Albert's body, we discover the one who killed Albert is hiding in the local wharf's bar, and it turns out the one who killed him was part of our favorite group of fish people, the Innsmouthers. He makes his case of why he did it, and you can choose to let him go or give him to Mr. Throgmorton. Innsmouthers and Throgmortons have a centuries-long feud. If you let him go, you'll get a thank you letter. If you give him up to the Ape Man, a bunch of raids will happen to the refugee Innsmouthers, and you'll get a newspaper clipping. Choices like this show up throughout all of Sinking City, and that is our gameplay loop.
Kind of... why do you... your face, it's,
Oh, so you're here to attack me just 'cause I look different to you? Wanna spit on me, whisper to your friends? What's new?
No, I'm sorry. I didn't know how to ask. I've just never met someone like you before. I didn't mean any offense.
Innsmouthers' bodies were blessed by the sea. You're gonna see a lot of us here, so you better get over it.
I'll get into the story later, but the first few missions set up an alright story, if not the most original thing in the world. I think why people like this game isn't so much for the main narrative, but side quest stories and the overall atmosphere. This is the Lovecraft cinematic universe fans have wanted for a while, I think, and for the most part, it's a solid first entry into this series.
There's a heap of flesh in this scrap of cloth. It's from his jacket. Just ask his friends.
Alas, this was my revenge to exact, not some wild beast's. Something must be done about those pests. Still, justice has been served. This isn't closure, but at least I know now the story.
Like I said earlier, this game would be the base for the future Sherlock Holmes games, and in my opinion, it's solid enough. The issues with Sinking City is that, rather than being a shorter experience like Sherlock the Awakened or Dark Corners of the Earth, it's a bit long in the tooth and kind of overstays its welcome. If you do want to play this, I suggest playing it in small chunks. Do some side quests, a few main missions, before taking a break and then coming back later. This suffers from Dragon Age 2 syndrome, where even though the game looks pretty, there's a total of 10 or so character models and about 5 to 10 interior locations that, within the main missions, look fine and have a narrative reason to look that way. But those same 5 to 10 locations of interiors are everywhere. Even if you really like side quest A or B or C and the story behind that area, it'll show up again later while you are looting people's houses just because this is an open world game made by a small team and they need interior locations for you to explore. This, at its heart, is an investigator game, so most of the time you are searching areas, talking to suspects, and using your mind palace to put it all together and solve these cases. You actually have to investigate and think a bit, but the problem with a lot of these games is usually it's just trial and error. If you screw up, you can try again, no matter the difficulty. So brute forcing your way through is an option, but honestly, it's way more satisfying if you do some reading, check the local library, police station, newspaper, etc., and figure it out yourself. Choices only have an effect on how you, as the player, feel about them, and only a few times does it show up in the environment, giving you the consequences to your actions. You have to physically place markers on the map to get to your location. I love this mechanic. Modern games have made us really a bit stupid, and we are so used to following the yellow line, we forget to look around and take in the scenery. And a positive of Sinking City, I think, is that it forces you a bit to take in this world Frogwares created. Reading that you need to go to Barbara Lane on the corner of Hastur Street across from Cthulhu Road had me invested in these mysteries because I felt like a detective. In the early hours, you don't have any fast travel and you have to take a boat around this flooded city. Luckily, you unlock fast travel by finding phone booths, but on a bit of a replay for this video, I still found myself taking the boat more than actually fast traveling. Then we have combat. Long story short, it's not good, but it's not awful. It's there to have something else to do, plus it's Lovecraft, so you need monsters. The monster designs are cool, and some Lovecraftian classics show up in cameos, but I won't spoil any of that for you guys. I always chalk up good sounding guns to if they hurt my ears when firing, and they did here, so points for the sound design. There are some light RPG mechanics here, given Sinking City started out as the Call of Cthulhu game that came out right next to it, pretty much developed by Cyanide Studio. Pro tip, max out gaining XP first so you can simply gain XP faster. Go for crafting and ammo next. Health isn't an issue if you are playing on normal or easy. There's no difficulty trophies here if you care about that kind of thing, so honestly play it on easy or normal, save yourself the headache. You get cool outfits here, but to unlock most of them you need to do pretty much all of the side quests. Sonically, I listen to the soundtrack here while going to bed. It's great ambience, and couple that with the pretty visuals and you nail the vibes. Voice acting is also good. I was surprised to learn that the guy doing Charles Reed's voice is also the actor for Robert Throgmorton. It's kind of mind-blowing here just how different they actually sound.
Of Dagon. Most of them stick to the fish market, but they seem to have agents everywhere. Even the university.
I knew there was something fishy about the EOD. The den of those filthy Innsmouthers. I'll tear it to the ground.
Actually, most of the EOD members I met were locals. And for what it's worth, the only Innsmouther I spoke to was a nice guy. You ought to examine your prejudices.
Are you calling me a bigot, Reed?
Everyone else is pretty good. Sometimes I buy that it's in the 1920s, other times it's a cheap TV movie. It's a good job overall though. Innsmouthers sound perfect, so I'm happy.
Good.
Where did he go after that?
Don't know, pal. He was way faster than me.
What's the deal with the password and such?
Orders from the higher-ups. I don't get to ask why.
Finally, you're awake. Gotta tell you though, mister, you want to stay on here, you stop making all that noise.
Noise? What noise are you talking about?
I expect my guests to be respectable. Moans, chanting, all that kind of thing. It stops, all right?
Can I help?
Charles Reed, private investigator. I need to see your book catalogs.
Sure. Over there.
And that's it? No payment, no threatening, no favors in return?
No. Library public. Knowledge for everyone. Welcome.
Well, that's music to my, eyes.
Reed, apart from having a good voice actor, is also just such a vibe. Like, literally me as a game character. He's just so done with all the supernatural bullshit, and it's such a great change from the, oh no, I'm going crazy, oh I'm so serious detective types, to have just some dude who's super chill, who's just kind of over it all.
Torture.
Legal in Oakmont. Local custom.
Huh. This city doesn't look like it has much need for books, except as fuel for fires. How come the library's in such good shape?
Mr. Throgmorton. Funds. Keeps everything in check.
Really? Huh. I wouldn't have thought that of him. I wonder why.
He says people need hope, entertainment, escapism. Now more than ever, can't imagine library without his help.
Bye, Joy.
Alright, this is our narrative portion, and I can't talk about it really without going into spoilers, so because of that, this is your spoiler warning. It's very simple, honestly, so timestamps down below for those of you that don't want to get spoiled. I'll give you guys a couple minutes. Go here to skip. Alright, so, Charles Reed, suffering from crazy visions, finds out he's not the only one. Lots of newcomers also suffer from the looming madness and either off themselves or mysteriously die.
Began to burst, and he woke up. And after that, I don't remember a thing, just dreams. Drowned streets, a sleeping giant, a voice that called me.
That sounds familiar.
Going to look for this researcher, Miss Doe, we find out she also suffers from visions, and due to her research team and Robert Throgmorton's deep pockets, explore this ancient cave with a strange tablet inside. Everyone on the research team went crazy and died, and Miss Doe also disappeared.
Make me, I beg you.
Bearer of what? Who are you talking to? What happened?
Our eyes. First, second, third, opened by the aura.
To make a long story short, Charles and Doe were the Chosen. Yup, it's a Chosen One story. Who can save the world or destroy it depending on the choice they make at the end.
I'm Charles Reed, private detective. I've come here for some answers.
Here you'll find many answers. Everything is an answer here. And everything is in my hands now. Do you understand? There is a cycle. This has all happened before. She wants to be free, but she must not be, or else it all ends.
What is this about a cycle?
It always begins with a great flood. Then the threat rises with the sea. The sea is all that divides our world from the one below. When the sea rises, the gates neither open nor closed, only waiting.
What gates?
Katiganar! The gates are not closed, the gates are not open, but they shall be one or the other by the cycle's end.
What are you talking about?
But the seal may close the gates, and close them forevermore.
Vanderberg, who's been leading you on this path the entire time to discover your destiny of being the Chosen One, is actually Hastur, an old god related to Cthulhu. He's sometimes called the King in Yellow. After your journey through Oakmont and Madness, you discover all of this is because Katiganar, daughter of Cthulhu, is under Oakmont and about to rise, and depending on the ending you choose, either by killing yourself to stop the awakening, accepting and awakening Katiganar to destroy the world, or just walking away, that also destroys the world, there is no real happy ending, I guess, because even if you sacrifice yourself to prevent the end of the world, Hastur, aka Vanderberg here, just simply summons another Chosen One to try and destroy the world again. There is a big attempt at making Innsmouthers sympathetic, because the race relations between Innsmouthers and Throgmortons is meant to be some kind of moral lesson on how racism is bad, but the problem here is that one group is a literal cult trying to raise up great Cthulhu within the canon itself in multiple stories, multiple times, and the other is a group stretching all the way back to the Conan era of the mythos. Yes, Conan the Barbarian is part of the Cthulhu mythos, and also trying to sacrifice and kill outsiders. There's no win-win here. There's no good guys in this racial conflict. You could argue lots of Innsmouthers just want to go back to the ocean and just live among themselves, but you guys, cults, they're both cults. They both partake in sacrifices. There's no good guys here. It's bleak. But such is Lovecraft. There's a bunch of other really cool side quest stuff, but maybe I'll make videos on those in the future as a separate thing. There's just way too much to go over and all that. So that's our narrative. It's simple, it's a bit cliched, Chosen One this, Chosen One that, and even though you make these choices throughout the Sinking City with, you know, depending on who you want to put to jail or not, it doesn't have an effect on the ending. It only has an effect on, like I said, how you feel as the player and your overall journey. This game really is about the journey and not so much about the destination.
Can you smuggle a man out of the city?
Ah, I can. If that's what you want, I'll arrange everything.
Should you play The Sinking City? Yes, I think so. It's not perfect, but nothing really is. And when it goes on sale for like $10 or whatever, that's a lot of playtime for such a cheap price. It took me around 30 to 40 hours to beat this thing on my first go, but that's literally because I did everything. I leveled my character up to max. I did pretty much all of the side quests. I think I only have one trophy missing. It's insane the amount of content that is here, despite it being a little bit long in the tooth and some of it clearly just meant for padding. For $10 on sale, you can't really beat that. I think narratively, while it's simple and cliched at this point, I still had a good time with it. And because this is pretty much the Lovecraft cinematic universe in game form, I loved all the Easter eggs and the nods to it. Here's hoping the Sinking City 2 can deliver a good, solid follow-up title. Again, link for that is down below. I've been Calypso. If you like this video, like this video. If you dislike this video, dislike this video. And I will see you in the next one.